All right, and this time I promise to make sure that I get this up before Monday of next week. Anyway, welcome to week 9. We're down to 2. Cade and Bob, first someone will show up halfway through. It's I think a number of our classes call to young men and young women activities, which are Wednesday nights, so we'll jump in late. What was I saying? So tonight I'm just gonna really quick go over the exercise and answer any questions you have about your final projects, and that'll be it. And like I said last week, I will have this every Wednesday night up until week 12. Week 13, we won't have a Wednesday night thing because that's pretty much the end of everything. And starting next week, it's just gonna be, unless someone has a specific question like Kate did about the questions this week and the exercises, it'll be me logging on, staying on for a little bit, answering any questions about the final project assignments or any other questions about the assignments and stuff, and then we'll be real short. So tonight it's just gonna be going over the week 9 exercises as I've been requested to do. And then if you have any questions about your projects. So, any question? I mean, I know Kay's got a question about the assignments this week. Anyone, any question about anything to this point? Everyone doing good? Y'all doing good? The two of y'all doing good on your code and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good. So I don't know if the final project is actually in the modules,
It's
but it's not due until week 14, is it? Or is it
it's
week
week it's due week 13.
13? Okay.
Because the earlier you get into me, the better I can grade it. But it is due by the end of week 13 because week 14 I have to grade it.
Right.
And here's the funny part about the final project. If you look at the grades, where the grades are, it is in there under week 14. But if you're looking for it in the syllabus, it's under week 3.
Okay.
Again, they haven't given me rights to change or fix anything, so that's just where it sits. Because week 3 is when we introduce the project. Week 3 is when we introduce the project. Because it takes about, if you're going to do it right and do it fully, it's going to take about 10 weeks to do. Some do it in less, some do it more. So, but I think, if I'll put the link out. If I remember this time, but usually around week 11 or 12, I'll put the link out where to do it. But if you can't find it in the week 3 syllabus, go to the grading page where your grades are and go to the very end and you'll see week 14, week 13, you'll see final project. And you just click on that and upload it from there. I try not to put links for the courseware in my announcements because I teach 2 sections and the link is not the same for both sections, which is weird. So invariably I will put the wrong link in one of the sections. I have to go and fix it. But I will try to remember this time to do it the right way.
Okay.
But yeah.
So am I gonna struggle to get it done on time if I haven't
No, I think it'll be
gotten
fine.
too much done yet? Okay.
No. I mean, if you're dedicated, I mean, we're in week 9, so you get a month to do it. You should be fine.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, you should be fine. There are some people like I've had one guy do it like on week 11 or week 12 decided to do it. I'm like, that's an interesting choice. Give it a shot, see what happens. I have no problem with someone swings for the fences, but here we're week 9. I think you should have no problem. I mean, you've already got which idea are you going with? You going to the bookstore, the record store, the child scheduling thing?
I was actually gonna ask about why specifically you thought that the
Child scheduling.
scheduling thing was gonna be
It's more interesting.
more interesting.
It's
Okay.
more
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, so it depends on what you want to do. So like with 4 weeks left, the easier one to do would be the book one, because that's pretty much, if you watch any of my old videos, I design book databases all the time. You can get through that and knock it out really, really quickly. If you want to challenge yourself, and the same thing's true with like was it a record store, video store? Was the second one?
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
video store, video
Yeah, so
game.
so video game store. So that's the same thing. I mean, it's the same when you're doing like a bookstore, it's like books, author, publisher, genre. It's the same base, and the same thing with video games. It's like title, publisher, designer, gaming system, blah blah blah. So it's all interesting. But with the child scheduling, it's a little more complicated, a little more fun. So any of the 3 will be fine. They'll work just fine. If you want to do the book thing, I never hold the topic against anybody, because so here's a fun story about me. So when I was in 9th grade, and this is why I don't hold anything against anybody. When I was in ninth grade, I was entering the science fair, and my teacher wanted me to come up with a really good project. So I decided that I was going to get all the books about evolution on Earth. And there's this the prime the evolutionist think there's a primordial soup that was electrified and then life came from that. That's what I was going to do. So I had a list of all the amino acids that were allegedly there and all this other stuff, and I designed the mechanism to do it. I needed a glass sphere and a Jacob's ladder and all this other stuff, and my teacher wasn't very. He didn't tell me it was a bad idea to try this, because I think the equipment was going to cost roughly $25,000. Not to mention the chemicals I have to put together. So anyway, so I had to scrap that. Instead, I did a project where I took those glow sticks and I cracked them, and I put one in the freezer, one in the oven, and one sitting out, and to see which one lasted longer. And my teacher took off points for me because he said my project was too easy. So whenever I do stuff like this, I you do whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you get the point, right? The point wasn't whether or not I understood why the chemicals in the glow sticks was that the point was if I understood the process of scientific discovery and hypothesis and all that other stuff and how to do the boards and everything. So yeah, so if Kate, if you want to do the bookstore, knock yourself out. I always lean towards the more interesting ones. Mostly because I've designed dozens of book databases, and it's like very habit to me. So whatever you want to do is gonna be fine. I don't detract because of what you chose. I've had people do bookstores, and then like last year, someone did that hyper complicated chemical theory one where he made a database where like he would merge the tables into make chemical equations to do different things because he worked for a chemical company. So that was super complicated. Yeah, I was super complicated. I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking impressive, if you ask me. But anyway,
okay.
So now you know a little bit about how I was in ninth grade and the weirdness that lived in my world. Because my main science project was I wanted to create life. So
Nice. Frankenstein.
yeah. We're gonna.
Been
I did
reading lately.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
There is a great. I think if you have Audible, there was a free version that had Tim Curry reading it.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
Tim Curry, he's a fantastic actor. I love that guy. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about the week 9 exercises.
Okay.
Let me share my screen. And I don't know, I watched your video, but I don't remember which one specifically you're talking about. So I'm just going to go over the 5 of them. Well, I'm going to go over 3 of them because the last 2 are pretty easy. The last 2 are just change the left join to a right join and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, where? Okay, so share this out. Here we are. Okay, so the first one is use the following table definitions and data, write a query that returns the customer name along with the total payments. The names differ because they're ones in the Sakilla database. So so basically this is something we've looked at. This is just a simple join that's using a group by and an aggregate function. So we're going to concatenate the first and last names with a space between them to make them look nice using the concat function. And then we're going to call it name. And then we're going to take the sum of the total amount from the payments table. And then we're going to join using right join the customer table to the payments table. We're going to join on customer ID and then group it by first name. So that's pretty much that first query right there. Right. The second query, the second question, and I don't really understand why they did this. Reformulate your query from exercise 10.1 to use the other outer join type, such as the results will be identical to 10.1. So literally all they want you to do is change that to left and rerun it, and then you get your 5 points. Now I'm pretty sure, now then you got this one here, use the following query as your starting point, rewrite the query, these are right joins to the left. So the one that you have in there says this, and we're just switching it to left join, right? So now I think, if I'm not wrong, this is the one that confused you. This is the one that said using a cross join, make a table that said 0 through 110, right? Was that the one that was vexing you, Cade?
Yeah, it said like using the data shown here, and I was like,
Yeah.
this, but that's all. It was data that's in the table already, but it was only like 3 rows of that data.
Yeah.
So I
So
thought it was weird. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to only like
yeah, let
use
me
that or like make a little
actually
table for myself and just do that, or
okay. Let me pull up the actual question here. Um let's see. You guys are still looking at the database, right?
yeah.
Okay. I'm learning how to use this Zoom thing better so I can like look at stuff while you guys are still looking at the database. So I don't have to worry about you seeing things that are super secret. Okay, exercise week 9. Let's do the preview. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the edit function. Okay, edit. Okay. So let me change the share to what I'm looking at here. Actually, before I do that, let me do this. Here we are. Okay. New share. Nope. Share. And I want you to look at that. Okay. So here's the week 9s. So is this the one? Let's see. Use the following to start ready around. Where's this one? Are you talking about this one here?
So that one, that one, I did okay on. I think that was um fairly simple because it was in the book for the
Oh,
most of
you're
it.
you're talking about this one here.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
was wondering why it says using following table definitions and data, like
Okay. So
specifically the three
right.
rows of data that it receives.
Because it wants you to use customer and table payment, right? And then it says here, these names may differ from the textbook because they're the ones in the Sakila database. So keep in mind that this query is directly from the book.
Yeah.
So, and these results are what you would get if you use the book database. So we're not going to have this. So what they want is, they want you to write the query like we wrote it here in the thing, but it says it's not going to match. It was just showing you in the one in the book, they just have these 3, right? And these 3. So
Yeah.
it's, or yeah. And these
Well,
3 show up, they're in there.
yeah. So those 3 do show up in our Sakila
Yeah,
database.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's just saying
Interesting.
that these names differ from the textbook because they're ones in the Skilla database. So uh uh it- you should have the first time I saw this question, I thought they want you to do a limiting so it only choose these 3, but it's not. They want you to return everything. So they want the results to look like this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well,
want this. They want you to pull this up and pull all of them out.
okay. That's
Yeah,
that's what I did. So that's good.
yeah. Because there's Mary, and then the other ones are there too somewhere. But yeah. It's just and I like the fact they use the questions from the book because I like the fact that if you get stuck, you can go into the back of the book and get the answer and figure it out from there. Because sometimes there's a lot of value in reverse engineering a query and understanding why it works. But in the case of this one's worded pretty weirdly for one of the
Yeah.
textbook ones because it's like, these names differ from the textbook because they're the ones in the Sakila database. So, and they don't let you know that there's like tons of them. So that C dot. And I gotta add this into there. Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's Mary, and then where's 210? So yeah, I don't know why they didn't. I guess they didn't have room to show all of them. There's two. Yeah, there's Ella Oliver. Yeah, so yeah, it
Yeah.
was just a weirdly word question.
I like the book that they have us using in here because,
Yeah,
and I like that they use the questions because, like you said, you can go back, but usually the questions they ask you have some sort of example just in the chapter itself.
Right, right.
So usually I go there first, see if I can figure it out, and if not, then I go to the back of the book.
And that's exactly how to use this book. I mean, I said in the for day one, this isn't a book that you sit down and get yourself a tall glass of water and read. It's like I'm going to start using this as a reference book and look things up and find it and figure it out and then go to the index and back and forth with it. So
Yeah.
yeah. This question here is the one that always throws everyone because it's weird because you got to do the cross joins and stuff. This is the one, but the answer to that one's in the back of the book too. So yeah. But yeah, so that's the questions of 9. And actually, when you think about it, this one's a really easy week because you're only really writing 2 queries. You're writing this one, and then you're changing to left, and then you write this nonsense query with all the cross joins and everything.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh wait, what did I do wrong? The first time I tried to do this, I tried to do it in a where if then loop, and it didn't work so good. What did I break here? Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's interesting. But anyway.
Yeah, the order by is very necessary. I got some weird orders when I did it. Like it started at 10 and then went 1 through 9 and then 20 and then 11 through 19. It was weird. I'm like, I don't know how I managed that, but
yeah, the engine is weird sometimes. But yeah. There's another one that you're gonna run into next week. Requires an alphabet thing. I forget what it is, but I think it's next week or the week after. It requires you to do one that basically does an alphabet. Roughly the same thing. You have to do like this weird union all kind of thing and give it a name and cross join it. But we'll save that till next week. All right, so that pretty much covers any coding. So do y'all have any questions on your final projects that we can discuss now? Else it'll be an early night for all of us.
it's supposed to be 10 tables, right? That's the idea.
Between 5 and 10, between 8 and 10.
Okay.
I find that if you start hitting the 11, 12 mark, so from my experience, once you hit around 10, if you try to go beyond that, you end up in there's not just 2 more tables you add. It's usually it almost like it grows exponentially. So now when I'm defining database, when I hit between 8 and 10, I go past that, I hit 15 really quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
So I find 10 to be a good stopping point. Between 8 and 10 is a good place to stop. I haven't yet to run into a database that I designed that uses less than 10 tables. Let me stop sharing here. Bob, how are you doing on your project?
There, now I got the mute off. I'm doing fine, I think.
Okay.
I think it has 8 tables, but some of them are intermediate tables, or I
That's
forget
fine.
what to call
That's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, I call them joining tables.
them. Okay.
Yeah.
But-
Or yeah. That's fine. That counts as a table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Just about to start writing the queries now.
Cool. I am, unfortunately, I'm gonna apologize public. I am behind in my grading. Sometimes it seems like when you get behind 1 week, you get behind really, really fast. So I gotta sit down tomorrow or Friday and just push my way through. I think I'm behind 8 and 9. I might be behind. In some people, I might not have finished 7 yet. So I got to sit down and push my way through that. And it does become a problem if someone's writing their projects and I don't get to their papers. Luckily, most people who do that ping me and say, "Hey, you haven't graded this yet." So, so that should get done by the weekend. So you'll have all your grades in there. But other than that, yeah. So if you guys are good with your projects and no one else here asks questions, we are good to call it a night.
Let
Thanks.
me clarify one bit about so it's 8 to 10, and then the crud is what it's calling it. the create, read, update, and delete
Mhm.
operations test cases. The MS Paint mock-up of a UI
Mhm.
for it.
Yep.
And then the PowerPoint pretty much.
Yep. So it's the ERD, it's the code to create the database, it's your insert statements for the data into the tables, it's the test cases, which are the CRUD statements, it's the front end mockup, and the either PowerPoint presentation or a short video explaining your project to me. So those
Okay.
are 6 things.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems fairly simple.
It is. It really. And if you look at what the requirements are for the project, I've decomplicated it a lot. They want some really weird stuff. I think they want like a minimum of 12 tables, and they want and they call the CRUD statement something else. So I'm not really sure what it is, but they give me a lot of latitude when I do this class. So, and they haven't. I've been doing this for 4 years, and they haven't yelled at me yet. So
that's good.
but that's what repentance is for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think I like the project, and I like the project because it gives everyone a design opportunity, which I don't think you really get in the courses here. And since this is called database administration and design, we should have a design element to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. All right. So everyone good? Kate, you good? Bob, you good?
Yep.
Okay. Bob, stay warm there in Arizona. You wouldn't think you'd have like that much snow in a desert, but we're in Arizona. Oh, dude.
Wow.
Brisket.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's what it looks like outside for me right now.
Yeah. I'd show you what it looks like for me. You'd just be very sad. It's dark right now, but it's all green and tropical. Here, wait, let me see. Where is the choose this here? That's my backyard right now.
That's nice.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a pool down there which people can get into but yeah, I got these really cool Alexa lights that I can change whatever color I want.
Nice.
Cool.
So, did I say Alexa and someone else's Alexa hear it? Because I heard mine went off.
No, I got a notification from
Oh, okay. Because they're always listening, you know.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. You guys have a great night. Stay warm, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Brother Stevick.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.